All right, hey guys, welcome back. I'm here actually with Chris this week. It's been a while since we've done something like this, so I just figured we would, and just only because there's so many crazy news items right now with Arcade1up, and Chris has some news to share, so I just figured it'd be a good time to do it. So
Sure.
thanks for joining.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Long time no talk to, seems
Yeah.
like. Yeah, I've been stuck doing Argonus videos, and my daughter's behind me. So anyway, no, I've been beta testing this new game called Argonus and doing trailers for it and doing all kinds of stuff. So it'll be really interesting to finally get it out to the public and be able to play sometime here. And I think it's late summer, early fall.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
cool.
you can provide some footage, and I'll put it in here so they can see a little bit of it. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Some of the All right, so Chris was kind enough to give me a sneak peek, so I'm going to roll the trailer for you guys. Check it out.
Awaken. Your spell it falls over me, carried on waves of blackest night. Dark waters rise over me. Your spell it falls over me. Unsalted wind beyond my sight. Dark waters call out to me. Dark waters call, calling me home.
When shall my hate have its fill? When shall it be placated? Never.
Your spell it falls over me.
Wow, that looks awesome. Chris did a kick-ass job on that, so it'll be available on Steam and PC, and we'll be in contact with Chris as things develop, just so we know exactly when the release date's coming. So pretty cool stuff. But we'll get back to the regular scheduled program. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. So I do want to ask you about something. So one of the things that kind of killed my wallet this week now was the two things was the Star Wars pre-order for Arcade1up, and then the Marvel Superheroes, the special edition. So I
Oh yeah.
took a little dent in the wallet this week because of that. But what did you think
Yeah.
about those? It was totally unexpected to me that the pre-orders were coming that quick. I didn't actually anticipate that at all.
Yeah, I didn't expect those to come out at all either. I saw the special edition one that was coming out. Honestly, I like the blue better than I do the orange. But like on the trim.
Oh,
And
the trim, yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure what I don't know. Not sure I understand other than the trim what the difference is between that comes with a certificate of authenticity or something like that.
Oh, and the special edition versus the regular one.
Yeah.
So the things I discovered, and hopefully keep me honest on this, but it looks like the light up marquee is one of them. So
Oh, okay.
the regular one's not gonna have a lit marquee. The special edition will, and that makes sense because the one they showed at E3 did not have a lit marquee, and then it's gonna have Sanwa joysticks and buttons versus the standard ones, which I think are Sanwa clones in the or they're somewhat Sanwa. Whatever's in the MK2 is what I think they're gonna put in the standard version. Which those aren't bad. The MK2, did you leave yours stock? They're actually not that bad.
The only thing I changed on mine is I added 4-pound springs to the joysticks to make them a little more
Yeah.
sturdy.
Well,
So
and Chris is the resident Mortal Kombat expert, so that makes total sense.
we're gonna get to that here in just a minute.
Yeah. So I think that's it. And the cabinet trim being a different color. The one thing that's interesting is for some reason it's being I don't know if it's everywhere, but certain like little articles I read, they call it team molding. It's definitely not team molding. If it's what's on the cabinet at E3, it's not team molding. So the Marvel cabinet's really cool, I think. It's weird because
Did you get Star Wars?
Yes. Hopefully Kim
It's
doesn't
okay.
watch this.
It's okay.
So I got the one thing I'm afraid of. That cabinet will 100% be like one of those showcase things. Like someone will come into your house and be like, "Holy crap, that's cool!" No doubt, anybody will. I just wonder, like, how much will I play them? I think it'll be more of a conversation piece than it'll be a system I play a lot of, because I feel like those games on an LCD maybe haven't fully stood the test of time. I could be wrong. That's kind of my opinion.
I can see that. You know, it's weird because I remember when they were talking about that it was going to be the Star Wars trilogy, and they were like, okay, it's going to have Star Wars, it's going to have Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back, and I was like, I've never played Empire Strikes Back. I had never even seen Empire Strikes Back until they had announced it, and I was like, I need to go find a video on that because I'd never seen it, and I was like, like I don't think I would have liked Empire Strikes Back. This first Star Wars one was pretty good. Return of the Jedi was a pretty cool arcade. But Empire Strikes Back was just kind of like a rehash of the first one, but it was. I didn't think it was as good as graphics. That's why I say graphics. It's the different characters and stuff you had to fly around. I just like,
Yeah. Actually, the funny thing is that when I was doing that video on I was kind of on this Dreamcast kick where I started doing all this Dreamcast, these Dreamcast games, and there's a really cool Star Wars Racer game on the Dreamcast, and I didn't think it was cool when I played it by myself, but then my son Tanner like picked up one of because I have it in an Arcade1up, the Redream build, and he's like, this is cool, and he never says that anything that I play is cool. So I was like, okay, I'm jumping all over this because he never plays any of my games, so. And he's tried to teach me how to play Fortnite, but that's just brutal. I can't even. I don't know. I just can't do it. I don't know why.
You know, it's funny. My daughter, I'm starting to get her into playing computer games with me, and you know, she's been playing Left 4 Dead. She's 8 years old. She's been playing Left 4 Dead with me. She loves Left 4 Dead. Then I was like, well, you know what? Let's give her something a little more story. So we started going through Half-Life 2,
cool.
Synergy, where you can play cooperatively through the whole game, and
she likes
she's
it?
getting. Yeah, she loves it, and she's getting really far in it, and she's not having difficulty. I thought she'd have problems with, like, there's a part where you have to, you know, get this hovercraft and you have to ride it around. I was like, there's no way she's going to keep up. Totally kept up, 100%. I was like, oh my goodness, like that's crazy.
Oh no way, that's
like,
cool.
I just can't. I couldn't imagine doing that at 8 years old.
Yeah. So. I wanted to ask you. So you asked me about Star Wars. Did you pre-order Star Wars?
No, I don't have room for that. My friend Zach might have because he's a huge Star Wars guy, and you know he's already talking about getting it and stuff, and how his wife's going to kill him for it. But
so I did want to just briefly talk about this because the having room for these is a big deal now. I feel like for the people that went, because some people are getting on the Arcade1up thing now, right? So they're Wave 2 forward, but I feel like the people that started with Wave 1. They may have 3 cabinets now, so that takes up they're small enough, which is good. You can move them around, it's great, but I mean, 3 cabinets still take up some room. So I'm wondering, like, if there's any opening for AtGames, it's probably that, because I do feel we've talked about this before in the past.
Yep.
People, I think, love the Arcade1up because of the graphics, recreating the graphics, because a lot of people just love them, and it's that whole nostalgia value. And it is cool from a collecting standpoint, but at some point it's got to end. You don't have endless amounts of space. So I do feel like there may be 2 people. Like, I don't know. Do you agree that maybe there's 2 audiences? There's someone that just doesn't care about the 1,000+ games in one system because they just really love those games, and that was like their nostalgia is tied to that. So I do truly feel like there's a market for both of these products. But I'm trying to figure out who I am. I don't know. Like, am I? Because I kind of feel like I have a problem when you have to have a storage unit to move your Arcade1ups to. So I don't know which one I am because I want both. I want to own both, but I don't know. I just wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, no, you can see my Arcade1ups in the background over here. I've got 3 of them, and the one thing the Arcade1ups have that are really nice is that people who are OCD, they're all the same. They're all the same size. They're all the same shape. They have different graphics on them, and you can put your own graphics if you want to do it that way too.
Right.
But they're uniform. So if you get one of those AtGames ones, it's not going to be the same. So people are going to have issues with that. The fact that AtGames one, as far as I know, doesn't come with standard graphics, that they are replications of other games, not at least
Yeah.
that we know of yet. So
Yeah.
at least
It was weird,
I
though,
think they
Chris.
said it was going to be moddable or something like that. You're going to be able to put your own graphics on it.
Well, let me tell you this really quick, because this was weird. So at E3, I didn't bring this up in the video, but and I don't know if they told me I couldn't or whatever, but I think that's probably come and gone at this point. But the graphics on the demo unit that they had, it was a it was a magnet. So that whole thing on the side was
really?
was magnetic. So he peeled it off, and I thought to myself, holy crap, that'd be super cool as a product to sell. Like, imagine being able to just reskin it at any time because it's a magnet. And he kind of
Oh my goodness.
him and the product manager guy were kind of caught off guard because they're like, well, we didn't think of selling it that way. This was just for the show. And I go, oh my gosh, like that would be this was when we were off the record. I go, I just think the cost wouldn't make sense, because I asked him, I said, how does it stick to the side of the cabinet? And he said, well, the cabinet right now has like a thin metal layer that it would stick to. But I thought, how cool is that? And who knows, maybe they will do something. But I was like, that's kind of cool, because
That is actually
Right?
that's brilliant.
I
Oh
know,
my
I
gosh, because then
know.
you can change it anytime you want. That,
you have some Mortal Kombat news, right?
I've got two things in Mortal Kombat news. Have you ever seen one of these?
Does it have Mortal Kombat on it?
No,
Oh,
no,
it has
no.
Rampage.
This one's Rampage, right?
Yeah, I've seen
So
them before.
okay, so Walmart sells a bunch of these. They've got Pac-Man, they've got Joust, they got Fix It Felix, and they've got Rampage. And well, it turns out Walmart's getting Mortal Kombat one of these.
No way.
Have you seen it?
Is
Yeah.
it an MK1?
Yeah, MK1. It's got 6 buttons and stuff. It actually looks pretty interesting. Although it's weird because it's got the block buttons on the far right. Like there's 2 block buttons, and then it's got 2 kick buttons and 2 punch buttons. But I'm a diehard Mortal Kombat fan, so I can't wait. Apparently there was some guy on Reddit who actually had one, because he showed a
What?
picture of it when he was at Walmart, and he's like, "Oh, I'm picking this up," and I was like,
Is it
because it's not even up
officially
on their
out?
site.
Oh, it's not? Huh.
No,
So
I
I
guess
got
they're just.
What's that?
I would say they're just. It seems like they're just coming out in spurts now.
Yeah.
So.
My buddy's daughter liked Wreck-It Ralph, and I got her the Fix It Felix one of those. And she plays it
Dude.
all the time.
Yeah, my son plays it too, and he actually got through the first set of stages where they pick him up and they throw him off the building and stuff, and so he's got through the full first set of rounds, and he's 4, and he absolutely loves it. And I think it's a great game. I think it's a really fun game. I kind of wish that had been a thing when we were kids.
So
But,
anyways,
that's
let's
what I
get to the
heard.
MK news. You know me, I'll just babble for a million years. So let's talk about the MK.
I'm fine. So yeah, so one of the cool things about growing up in the 90s and 80s and 90s and stuff like that was
Chris, you didn't hear that, did
going
you?
to arcades, right?
You didn't hear
Um,
that, did you, Chris?
Hear what?
You don't hear this?
Get over here!
What?
Okay, never mind. When you started talking, I played Scorpion Get Over Here, but you don't hear it.
No, I didn't hear it.
Get over
I just did it
here!
again. You don't hear it. Okay. All right. Sorry. I was being
Okay.
ADD.
No, that's fine. So anyway, growing up in the arcade generation where we got a chance to go to the arcades, I remember back in the 90s where I would go to the arcade every day, and one of the things I would do is I would play Mortal Kombat 2, and I played it. It's the only game I've ever played competitively. I would go there and challenge anybody that was at the arcade. Anybody who was playing, I would just walk up and put 2 quarters in and join in and try and beat them. And I got really good. There were only a handful, maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 people in Indianapolis that frequented the arcades that could beat me.
That's pretty big.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I played hardcore. I still do. Having the Mortal Kombat Arcade1up, I play it like every Friday. We have a game night over, somewhere, and I usually am playing the arcade version somewhere.
Can any one of the guys beat you? Your group of friends?
Yes. There are days that my brother and my friend John, they can just walk all over. Excuse me. They can walk all over me. But there's some days I can't be beat. It honestly is so weird. It's like the day. Like there's something with that particular day. I can't even explain it. It's like I can't win to save my life, or no one can beat me and touch me, and I kind of have to throw my game a little bit to at least give some guys some confidence of staying in there, because if I beat them too badly, they stop playing, and it's like, well, dang it, I need them to play. So, but anyway, regardless, the fond memory of actually going in and playing Mortal Kombat 2 is something that is near and dear to my heart. So, meeting Daniel Pacina recently,
that's
doing
so cool.
an interview with him, it kind of re-sparked an interest. I actually wrote a book for Mortal Kombat 2 several years ago. This one was the first iteration of that. It's a okay book. It's got probably 60 or 70 pages. But it was before some of the things that recently came to light, like the EBJ menu, the AJB menu, the Edward J. Boone menu that got revealed, that you could actually get into it and do all that stuff. So it was like, okay, so that book is missing that. And there's a few other things that I didn't cover in there, like some of the rumors and things like that were going around, at least not in any detail. And so I redid the book after the interview with Daniel Pacina, and I wanted to make it so comprehensive that it'll cover things like Arcade1up. It'll cover just all the iterations of the arcade versions, all the rumors, the story behind it. I wanted to get into an extremely comprehensive book, and I created that book, and it's actually up for sale right now on lulu.com, LULU.com, and you can purchase that as an ebook or in physical format.
Sweet.
It's 104 pages long. So the page count went up dramatically.
Yeah.
I believe the physical book version is right at $30, and the digital version is $10 right now.
Are
so
we going to be able to put the link in the description for that?
Yep.
I
sent you an email with the links.
Awesome.
So,
okay, cool.
so you got them. So you can put those down.
Yeah.
And then so you can order that right now if you wanted to. It takes a couple days to basically them to make it, and then they send it out to you. If you're a diehard Mortal Kombat 2 fan like I am, this book should quench that thirst a little bit. Like, you can look through it. It's got sheets for a couple pages dedicated to each one of the characters. Talks to it goes and shows pictures of the actors that played them, what they look like now, as opposed to what they look like back in the day, like kind of what they're up to now.
That's so cool.
Go ahead.
No, I just said that's so cool.
Yeah, it's got a quick reference in the back of the book, so if you need to get to the special moves and fatalities, you can get to them really quick. I actually found myself doing that. I was playing with my son on this machine over here, and he wanted to see some of the friendships, so I was going through and like, oh man, I can remember a lot of the friendships, but there were some I just couldn't remember. I was like, oh, I need that book, so I grabbed it and checked the quick reference out in the back real quick, and it was really cool. So I think, like I said, if you love Mortal Kombat 2, this book is definitely for you. I think you'll get a kick out of it. I think it's completely entertaining as far as keeping your interest. It goes into like all the special characters, and like I said, just the rumors alone is a really cool page. And I've got a 2-page spread with the Arcade1up information, and it's also got the codes on how to get to the menus. So if you need to get to them at any time for each one of the Mortal Kombat games, the EJB menus in there too for each one of those.
That's awesome. I feel like all the mystery around that game, like all those weird rumors, it was a different time then, because in the arcades, you almost like this box shows up and it plays this game that you've never seen before. And it's not like you could go like call up the developer. A lot of times their name, the only tie you had to them was that if you beat the game or if you sat there and watched the intro menu, you might see their names pop up. But it's not like they were as accessible as they are today. So it was like, I feel like video games in general were just more mysterious at that time. But then to pile it on, if you have these rumors, there was no real way to validate it. So they just kind of kept spreading, which made for even more bizarre rumors, which is kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually found, and one of the things that helped me spur me on to make this book is I found my original sheets that I used to sell at the arcade for $1 a piece. It was 4 sheets long, but it was in that dot matrix paper, so it was all perforated, but you can make it as long as you want.
Is there any way that you could send me some pictures of those so I can put those in this video? Do you have pictures of it? Okay, cool, because I think that'd be fun for people to see.
I've got pictures.
How much
So
were you
I'll send
making
those to
on
you.
that? Were you making money on that back in the day, or?
Dude, I was banking. I was banking. It was paying for my entire addiction to play Mortal Kombat 2 at the arcade. Um,
Was it funding your gameplay pretty much? Was that
it
how?
it was, but there's this really really funny story behind that. Not only were I documenting like all the what we thought were animalities, what we thought were nudalities, what we thought were like all these different things.
Yeah.
These Black Raiden and Novo Saibot is what we originally thought his name was, and like all these different like things going on. But I would sell them for $1 a piece, and I would make a lot of money. I would make 10 or 15 bucks every time I go to the
Yeah.
arcade. And then I went to the arcade right next to my house. And when I was selling it one time, the manager came out and he was like, "Hey, you can't sell that here." And we were like, "We've been selling it for
Yeah.
weeks. Like, what are you talking about?" And so he grabs me and my friend, and he walks us out to the front of the store, and we're like, "Really? We're getting walked out for $1? Like, really? What's going on?" And then he pulled us out there. Then he leans in real close and he's like, "So those are only $1?"
Can I get one? Is he saying can you get
Yeah,
one?
but yeah. So we sold him one. And we weren't allowed to come back for the rest of the day. We'd come back the next day or whatever. But he bought one off of us, and we had a good laugh
Oh,
as we were
that's
leaving
so
the arcade
funny.
that day.
That's so funny. I do. Just you talking about that story and just Mortal Kombat, the cabinet, and all that. It does. I think part of the reason why I enjoy all these cabinets and everything is just I miss those times. And there are arcades that are popping up now, but they're more like arcade bar kind of things. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. It's just it's still not the same. But there was something
Yeah,
that was
no.
kind of I was kind of thinking about. You hear this a lot when people talk about arcades, like they were kind of gross in a way. Like no one was really cleaning them that well, at least the one I went to. So it was just like, but that was all part of the whole atmosphere, right? There was a little bit of a, yeah.
I hated going to arcades and getting shocked by pinball machines. Did that ever happen to you?
Yep.
We were touch something metal and it's like like what the heck?
Yeah. For a while,
I plugged
I'm
in a
pretty-
Qbert. I plugged in a Qbert machine when I was like 6 or 7 so I could play it, and that's the first time I was ever electrocuted, and it hurt bad.
that's not
I was
fun.
like, oh my gosh.
I think it actually made me not play pinball for a period of time. Like you get scared of stuff like that when you get electrocuted. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know. It's like, what else is going to happen? You're afraid to touch anything at that point. But yeah, no, it was a good time. And like I said, the book is to help relive those times. I recount a couple of different stories we had in the arcade. Like every time I hear Tom Petty, I think of Mortal Kombat 2, and that's such a weird thing to say because one of the arcades I went to, Fun City over here on the west side of Indianapolis, they would always be playing Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers CDs in the background, and every time I hear like 3 or 4 different songs from that album, like in my car or whatever, it just reminds me of Mortal Kombat 2. And when I tell people that, it's so weird.
Weird tie to Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat. All right. Well, congrats on the book. That's really cool, and I'll definitely
Thanks.
provide links on where people can get it. I think that's awesome. I got a chance to glance at it. I didn't get to read the whole thing all the way through. I did order it, so I'm planning on. I don't know. I'm weird with books. I like to actually like have it in my hand to read it. I don't know. I'm not a like big digital reader. I don't know. I'm just not. Even though I have e-readers, but all right.
Well, I definitely try to make this more visual.
Yeah.
There's a lot of visual to it. You could skim through it if you wanted to and get a lot out of it. It's got a couple things with the comic book and the merchandise and things like that they were selling at the time. So
Yeah. So I guess to wrap it up, the only thing I was going to talk about is I know I'm being kind of like vague and weird about this.
your project.
The special project, but I'm not going to even share much about it here. But it was just I just kind of noticed myself not being bored by Arcade1up, but it I think when I met you and things were starting to get rolling for Arcade1up, it was kind of like still a relatively unknown thing. Like not that many people knew about it. Like we seemed like it was a relatively this thing everyone knew about, but really it wasn't. I mean, it was pretty low key in the beginning, and I just feel like now. And this isn't anything against, I mean, obviously everyone has the freedom to do whatever they want on YouTube, but I just like noticed that there's so much content and so much repeated content about Arcade1up. And I just was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to do a project that isn't Arcade1up related. And I've done a lot of like little things. So it is an arcade project. It's not Arcade1up related. But it's really cool. Like it's a very unique, but it's a very time-consuming project. So it isn't like something where I bring it home, unbox it, and in 45 minutes I'm using it. This is like probably going to take me a week and a couple days to finish, but that's just because I can't work on it day in and day out. But it's going to be pretty neat. I think people are going to really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool.
And you can try to ask me questions, but I may or may not answer them. So if you have some, I'll potentially field them.
Yeah. Nope. I already kind of know what it is. So.
Hey, you be good. But yeah,
The Mortal Kombat 3 book, obviously.
yes, I'm writing a Mortal Kombat 3 book. No, I actually, no, I'm not doing that. No book. Speaking of books, and this is something I'm sure you're just can't wait to be released, but I actually am excited about it. I haven't heard much about RGT85's 32X book.
Oh yeah, the 32X book, yeah.
But the 32X was just such a weird thing that I'm just so interested because I think his plan was to interview a lot of people that might have worked on the project. So I liked it, but for I don't know what reason. So I think it's just because it was Sega, and you'll bust on me. It's just anything Sega I just liked, and it didn't matter if it sucked or not. I just liked it.
True fanboy.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it sucked, but I think at the time, I don't know. It was consoles are going through a transition. It was neat to be able to push a little bit more out of a Genesis, I guess, but it was short-lived,
Yeah, you'll be proud of me. I actually watched the whole documentary on the 32X and the Saturn. So, yeah, it was like all the stuff that was going on with the history of that, and I'm up to par on it. I understand what was going on, and the Sega of America did not want to push that at all. They really didn't. They were like, no, this is not a good idea, and they were like, Sega of Japan was like, do it. Like, okay.
They had the Shia LaBeouf came out and they went, just do it.
Just do it.
You've seen that video, right?
Oh, I've seen it.
I thought about a million times working him into an intro, but I don't know if there's like legal reasons why I can't. I don't know. I mean, it's on the internet everywhere, but I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got, Chris. What else?
I'm going to Gen Con this weekend. It's gonna be awesome. 4 days of gaming, the biggest gaming event in probably America, as far as tabletop board gaming and card games and things like that. And Farron's going to go with me. I'm going to start teaching her how to play some games, and
nice.
we're doing like we've been doing, like she went with me to do an escape room last weekend.
Fun.
That was
did you guys get out?
We did too. Yeah, well, we did too. The
can't
first
hear
one
me,
we didn't get out. We missed out by 3 minutes, and then the second one we did get out with like 15 minutes to spare. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I'm a huge escape room guy. Absolutely love it. I just did a virtual reality one with my brother like a couple days ago.
Oh, nice.
It was a blast. Nice. So, but yeah, no, we're going to be doing that this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be 4 days of nonstop walking and playing board games and doing all kinds of stuff, crazy stuff downtown. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so cool. And the only other thing,
aren't we, Dad?
What?
We're going to the Batcave, aren't we, Dad?
We're going to the Batcave. We call the parking garage as the Batcave.
Oh, I thought that would be your brother's house because he is obsessed with Batman, which I don't know if a lot of people know that, but Chris's brother literally is obsessed with Batman. So
yeah, if you see on my shirt, like he's Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to mention is I'll even though I'm a little bit it'll be interesting, but I have that panel at Game On Expo, which is I think it's next weekend already. So that'll be, it's not this coming weekend, but it's the next weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. It's a panel of one. It's just me. It's on Sunday, and apparently there's a typo that says it's from noon to 1 o'clock in the morning. So I will not be talking from noon to 1 o'clock in the morning because that would...
You do like to talk, though.
Yeah, I do, but that'd be brutal. So I'm looking forward to that. So if anybody is in Phoenix or planning on going to that, it'd be cool to see some people that we watch the channel, watch the retrospect stuff. It'd be neat. But yeah, that's all I got for right now. I'm just I got to get my kids in a couple minutes, and then I'm going to work on that cabinet or whatever it is tonight.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right, Chris. Well, I guess anything you want to plug before we maybe Argonus stuff or anything?
We got my book. We got talked about Argonus. We'll hit up Argonus here shortly when the second trailer comes out.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the next one.
Take it easy, guys.